Hi guys, this is Naomi.
This is Elle. Welcome back to our podcast. We are going to be talking about a chapter from the book School and Society by Tozer. And we're going to be discussing chapter 5, which is about women in schooling.
And then we're just gonna put in our own ideas because this is about like analyzing and putting our own opinions about things.
Yes, we each have some questions to ask, but then we'll each give our opinions. So
We're gonna start off with Elle.
should I start with my question?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question, I pulled a quote from the book. It is on page 127. It says, "Even today, evidence of belief in fundamental differences between the sexes and the idea of inherent inferiority of women can be found in many dimensions of our culture." So where else, besides school, do you see inferiority to women in our culture?
I think that's such a good question. One thing that came to my mind when you said that was I just can think of so many instances where I have had an idea or something really cool that I thought it was really cool, and then I was in a group of guys that were so for example, even my cousins, this happened with my cousins a lot. They would be talking about
Yes.
things, and then I would input my opinion, and they would just kind of not acknowledge it. But then someone else later would bring up the same point.
I know.
And then everyone was like, "Oh, that's so true."
And were you I just said that 5 minutes ago?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, I feel like that's totally happened to me too. And honestly, I feel like I see it a lot, and it's kind of sad because you don't even realize it's happening. Honestly, I can also think of times in high school or something, if I was just with a big group of friends, and then I said something, and then later when my guy friend said something, I was I tried to bring that up an hour ago or something.
Yeah.
But
do you think that they do it consciously, or they're it goes in their brain and then they think of it without knowing it was your idea, but because now it's subconsciously there?
That's actually such a good question. I think that it depends, but I totally think that boys just aren't as smart. Sorry, not sorry, but some boys are not, and they'll hear it and not acknowledge it, and then later they will think of it and just totally think that they came up with it by themselves. I'd be I wonder where that idea came from, not even realizing oh duh, someone already said it. But I shouldn't stereotype all men, because I'm sure not all men are like that.
I know, yeah. There's definitely, I've met there's so many amazing guys.
For sure.
And
Definitely.
I used to be one of those I hate all men type of people, but now I've just really grown to appreciate I don't know, there's so many great ones, and we can't discriminate, but
I know. I have 2 older brothers, so I am literally the only girl. It's me and my mom against the world. But we're lucky because they we're kind of the center of the family, though. It sounds kind of bad to say, but me and my mom, I personally feel we run that.
You run
place.
it?
We run that place.
Do you just okay, so there's a quote that's the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. Do you feel you kind of just low-key manipulate them into decisions, or are you because in my family it's have you ever seen Brave?
No, I've not seen it, but
Okay.
I know what you're talking
In
about.
Brave,
I know
there's
parts
the
of it.
man, the husband of the main character. Sorry, no, the father of the main character. Merida, yeah. Their father, basically everything the mother says, he just kind of repeats.
Yeah.
And, if he has to give his own speech or something, he can't do it. But then she stands up and gives it, and then he's yeah, and repeats it. My dad is like that.
You do? Okay.
But he doesn't try to take lead. He's just, backs up my mother with anything she says.
I feel mine is more, my dad is, very smart. And my dad is probably the smarter of the two, but at the end of the day, my mom almost makes the choices. What my mom says goes. But my dad's very smart. My mom's smart too, but my dad's very smart, and he can come up with his own thoughts. But if my mom is we're not doing that, then he's okay. Like, she kind of makes the decision at the end of the day. But, yeah, that's how I would say it is. But, yeah, I feel like we run that place, me and my mom. We've got to.
Do you feel like you've ever felt like there has been any... What are other ways you've, like... What was the question again?
Like, seeing inferiority of women in culture.
Oh, yeah. What are other ways we see that in, like, U.S. culture, do you think?
I mean, it's like, there's so many, and I feel like just being in, like, certain classes in college, you can kind of see it. Like, I feel, like, thankful that we're in a major that, like, it's, like, woman power, almost.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I do know a ton of men in the major who are, like, very smart and, like, take it seriously. But sometimes, do you know, like, the Tippy building?
Yeah.
I feel, like, intimidated in there.
Yeah, I feel like if I were in, like, actually, there's a woman that transferred. She's actually in our, one of our classes. She's the other hijabi in our class. She used to be a business major. Yeah, she used to be a business major.
Oh, really?
And she said she always felt like just kind of, like, so dominated, like, and, like, unseen, and, like, and, like, then she transferred to the College of Education, and, like, I've never seen her so happy, honestly.
Yes, I agree. So when I'm in Tippy, it's, like, one, it's just such a busy building, and I feel like, business, that major is so, like, male dominated.
But also, like, a certain type of stereotypical man that I wouldn't want to marry. But, like, I would marry probably any man in the College of Education, honestly.
Yeah, they're all great. Everyone I've met in this major has been great.
Yeah.
But, yeah, walking through there, you see, like, these men that are just, like, men that scare me, typically. So I'm in there, and I just feel like a scared little cat because all these men are walking around and with, like, big posses and, like, big groups of other men.
Yeah. I can so see... My sister's a chem major, and she says... what I brought up about your ideas being taken by a man. She says that happens all the time.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that major, it happens all the time.
Actually, this kind of reminded me of, like, another thing I was actually looking... When I was looking for sources to back up something I saw in the textbook, which was... on page 125, it mentions girls sometimes have less confidence than boys. This is paraphrasing, but it mentions that sometimes girls have less confidence than boys about speaking up in class, which reminded me of the professor saying that mostly girls have been taking notes but then not, like, speaking up as much, like mostly the boys were doing that, which made me think about, actually, like, I don't think I've ever seen a man take notes for like things that were, like, important, like meetings, or like I don't know, like if in court or something where they're, like, writing stuff down. It's always women. And then so I was trying to look for, like, sources about, like, maybe, like, studies or something about, like, women being, just assumed to take the role of notes. But I actually came across a Reddit post, and don't judge me because I think personal experiences are almost more valuable. And it stood out to me because it said, only woman in the office, only one who can take notes, apparently. And then, so I clicked on it, and it said, I started a new job recently. I'm a project manager for a tech company. Most of my coworkers are men. I was added to a random meeting this morning a few minutes before it started. When I looked at the attendees, it's all VPs, directors, and the CEO, no one from my team. I sent a message to my boss asking why I was added, thinking maybe it was a mistake. No reply, and the meeting was about to start, so I just joined. The meeting was scheduled for 8:30, and I start work at 9. I'm in the office, so I took the call while in the car. No one in the meeting reacted to me joining, and I was not asked to contribute or speak at all. It was just a daily catch-up meeting between senior management. I got to the office, and my boss asked me if I had taken notes. I explained I was driving. Then Then I was told that the only reason I was invited was to take notes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, multiple levels to that. One, why did no one tell her that she was going to be added to this meeting?
Right.
Two, why was she expected to take notes?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me think of? I feel like a majority of assistants, like people's assistants, are women.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's not the case. Maybe I'm uneducated because I have never been in like a real job setting.
Is.
But I feel like...
Have you ever seen a movie where the assistant was not a girl?
Okay, actually one.
Oh, really?
Have you ever seen the movie The Proposal?
No.
With Ryan Reynolds and
I think I've heard
Sandra
of that.
Bullock. And Ryan Reynolds is actually the assistant. It's a great movie. Ryan Reynolds is the assistant.
That's
and then
probably where most of the comedic relief
yes.
relief
but
comes
it's
from.
such a good movie, and like basically they work at this company in New York. She's the boss, but she's about to get deported back to Canada, but to stay in the country, she was like, "You're gonna marry me because I need to stay in the country, and you're my assistant. And you have to do whatever I say, so you're gonna marry me." And then it's like the whole plot after that, but he is the assistant. Sorry.
That's
cool. That was like unrelated, but
that was probably based on like someone being like, let's empower women with this.
Yeah, probably.
It was probably not even like something that would really happen. It's probably just someone like trying to empower women through a movie. Like that's
probably. But I always loved it because, like I said earlier, before we started recording, but to you, that I used to be a creative writing major, so I wanted to like write books. So like that was like used to be my dream job, was to like work at a book company, and like that's what her job was. Anywho, back to that Reddit post. I think that's crazy. And does it say what ended up happening after she was like, I did not take notes?
Okay, so let me see.
Because
she said he apologized for not making that clear, but I'm still livid. They've been having this meeting for years before I joined the company, but no one has been taking notes, and the second a woman joins, they all realize they now have a dedicated note taker.
Yeah, she was expected to take notes. See, that just goes back to like the fact, okay, I'm not gonna say boys are stupid because they're really not. Boys are very smart. But one, why didn't they think to tell her she was supposed to take notes, and why can't any of them take notes?
I feel like women are like expected to be like a passive like analyzer, but then the men are what contribute the actual things that make things happen.
Yes. You know what? Another job setting that comes to mind is like in a dentist office. Like the actual dentist is typically male, and then like the dental hygienist is typically a woman.
Doctors, male. Nurses, woman.
Yes, and of course I've seen it the other way around.
Yeah,
like I have
100%.
seen a woman doctor, a woman dentist, but I'm thinking back to like my childhood. My actual dentist was a male, and the dental hygienist was a woman, and I always felt like the dental hygienist did more work.
Yeah.
Like the dentist in himself made like the diagnosis, like you have a broken tooth, you need to get that tooth pulled out, like you should get braces. But like as actually like brushing my teeth, like looking inside my mouth, like dealing with like talking to parents or like stuff like that, it was always the dental hygienist, who was probably 98% of the time a female.
Yeah. I feel like that's a common theme where like the women like behind the scenes do a lot of the work, but then the man kind of almost take the credit for it.
Yeah, it's like he makes the final say, so
yeah,
it's like
women are always like expected to be like the planner, event planner, but then like the event will be under like a man's name or something.
Yeah.
Or like
under this company who is run by this man or something
the woman might cook the food in the back, but then the man will be like give the toast or something.
Yes, I totally agree.
Like, yeah, that was like, I was looking through the comments in this Reddit post, and like it was like surprising like how many like people this happened to, like something like this, or just like they were expected, even though it wasn't in their job description, like they were given like a job where it was like nothing to do with it, they were still expected to do like a passive role that like notes everything that the men are doing, or like behind the scenes things like party planning or something. There was one woman that when she first started this engineering job, she was she was the designated note taker.
Yeah.
But then, like, 20 years went by, and, like, she at first thought it was, like, just, like, the new person did it.
Yeah.
But then, all of these, like, younger, less experienced men came in, and she was still expected to do the notes.
Yeah.
And she had, like, 20 years of experience at this point, and she was still not, like, her input was still not valued, and, like, there were newer, like, 20 kids in their 20s joining, and then, like, what they had to say mattered, but she couldn't. Yeah.
And I do think it's, like, come a long way, but I think there's still so much more to go.
100%.
So, we still have lots to do. Okay, should we ask one more quick question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the United States could ever go back to what women, like, what women could do in school back then?
Wait, sorry, can you say that one more
time?
Yeah,
sorry, that was confusing.
I think it went through one ear and not the other.
Do you think the United States could ever go back to what women had in school back then?
Oh, well, considering who we have president now.
That's why I said underneath my question, I said, especially based on who our new president is. I literally wrote that.
That's so funny.
Not meaning to get political here, but
I'm pretty sure the professor would agree with us on that one.
I would think so too, because based on last night's events and today's events.
Also, doesn't the textbook, like, bash in too?
I mean, probably they should, because
I think it was either that or my environmental science textbook that like brought up Trump.
Oh my gosh, they should,
in the negative light.
This is just not a good time for women, I fear.
Yes.
We have gone very over. But
Great.
Thanks for listening to our podcast, and we hope you had fun listening to all our opinions and our quotes from the book.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.